purging is at last at hand. The day of doom is here. All that is evil, all that are lies, your parents, your ears, those who would call themselves your judges, those who have lied and corrupted the earth, they shall all be cleansed.
Blizzard more like than crypto winter. Bitcoin's down over 7% now, and it still looks like it's got a ways to go.
I'll share this to the spaces just to understand how fucked America is. But breaking news. OG Insider with 100% win rate just got fully liquidated 5 hours ago for $220 million. He was up $100 million just a few days ago, but never took any profit and lost everything in 10 minutes. Crypto is It's the fucking casino, Sir Kenaz. Oh my gosh.
100%,
you gotta check your winnings out, bros. If you don't check your winnings out, this is what's gonna happen to you.
I mean, Bitcoin has always been like the place where Bitcoin is not. If you're trading Bitcoins leveraged, be ready to lose everything at any time. That's just the way it is. It's the way it's always been.
Yep, it's gambling.
Yeah, I mean is gambling. I know lots of people in Dubai gamble, but lots of people in Dubai drink too. Like, I believe, is it gambling kind of frowned upon in Islam, or?
Yeah. Like, the thing with those societies is that the oil sheikhs, right? They want to have their cake and eat it too, which is why I don't see them lasting, right? Because the general people really dislike this, and the police state and these things, they kind of try to keep the peace, but. Basically, what they do is they're like, oh, we're going to set up these foreigner duty-free zones or whatever, where all this bad shit's going to happen. But don't worry, guys, everything else is going to be fine. And the people are like, well, no, that's just wrong. We're very close to the Prophet's mosque. It's only a few 100 miles away, and you're doing this bullshit. Fuck off, right? Riyadh now is having these, dances and these raves and these nightclubs. And, yeah, I mean... Let me just put it to you this way. I will not be surprised if, the next 10 or 12 9/11 style attacks happen in my part of the world, right? Against these types of establishments, right? So.
Yeah, I can see that, because it's like you're buying into Western decadence. It's kind of like you're buying in on the stock market on the Monday, on the Thursday before Black Friday.
Pretty much.
I mean, it's like American decadence is about to come home to roost.
Yeah.
You're basically decided this is where we're going to throw. We're going to go full West at a time when, the best thing we could do is go full, our culture.
Yeah. It's just fucking funny.
Something that, if current demographic trends continue, the Amish at the beginning of the 22nd century are going to be a major group in the United States, 30-40% of the white population.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised if that happens. People made fun of them, but look at where those people are and look at where the Amish are today, right?
Yeah, I mean, the Amish are like, okay, so we're going to have to learn to live without electricity. We're going to have to learn how to grow things on our own land. We're going to have to learn how to live a sustainable lifestyle. Wow, that's going to be difficult.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, Sir Kenaz, this is perfect. America enters something worse than the Great Depression 2.0, and then the boomers, who basically bought everything up for pennies and didn't give their children everything, they're like, okay, we're going to sell all this stuff, we're going to liquidate it to the Zionists, the Jews, and we're going to liquidate it to the Indians. So what did someone call it? They called it the Boomer Jeet kike or like Boomer Jeet Zion alliance, right? So like America gets put up for sale, auctioned off the highest bidder, and Indians and Jews and whatnot take, conquer it basically. That's where things are headed. Oh my god.
I think that is, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
just, there are, basically, you're going to, America has got to get used to living on less.
Yeah.
It's just,
You're a Malthusian, Sir Kenaz, you're a
everybody does.
Malthusian. Sir Kenaz, you're a Malthusian. How dare you say that? You hate humanity and you hate everyone. You're worse than the leftists, Sir Kenaz. How dare you say that?
Yes, because I hold to the horrible heresy that infinite growth is not sustainable on a finite planet.
That's basically it, yeah. Oh, crazy world, man. Crazy world. Holy shit. Oh, dear.
Yeah.
This is so funny. This is so funny. We can make this entire show just us reading the comments. It's just...
but let me see what else is going on in the stock market today.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see what else. Keep in mind, yesterday the stock market was up 2%, like 2.5% before the turn.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Yes, stocks are still rising. S&P is down 16. Dow 30's up a bit. NASDAQ is down like 8.8%. So that doesn't surprise me. That really doesn't surprise me at all. In fact,
no.
Let's see where Nvidia is going. Bitcoin heads for worst month. It's down 7.5% now. Ethereum's down 8.6. Yeah. And Nvidia's down 3.8. Yeah, Nvidia's starting to tank. That's not a good sign.
Okay, what's the VIX at? We will know.
VIX,
we will know we're in the crash. We will know we're in the crash.
VIX is still at 2663.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me see what the VIX is at. VIX is at 26.96. Okay, this is not the market crash. Sir Kenaz, this is still not the market crash. If you see the VIX go to like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 200, that's when you know, okay, we are seeing the market crash happen. This is still just correction. All of this is still just correction. Oh my god. So
yeah,
funny.
last time we had was it got up to about 45.50 during the trade.
Yeah.
Like during the tariff. 2008, it got up to like 48. So, it's like, oh, all right, we're looking at like how long they've been doing the VIX.
I think 2008, it reached up to like 80 or something.
High was 89.53 on October 2008. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So,
so we've not seen VIX. I don't know. Have we seen VIX 100 yet? VIX 100?
We haven't seen VIX 100 yet.
Oh,
Let me just see something. How does VIX work?
Yeah. It's the volatility index, basically. So it's a shorthand for like how much FOMO, how much people are wanting to like, kill themselves and exit, basically.
Okay. Based on, it checks index options.
Yeah.
And I guess if the options start really, VIX is the square root of the risk neutral expectation of the S&P 500 variance over the next 30 calendar days. Okay, on February 2006, it became possible to trade options on the VIX. But that's another thing that's going to be a problem. How much of the money that's out there in the market is in derivatives, in like options, in stuff that doesn't really exist?
It exists only if other things exist. That's the thing what people need to understand. It's like, in order for certain things to exist, a smaller thing has to exist, right? So it's like, well, Ahnaf, why do you care so much about bonds? Bonds are only this much. and it's only a few billion. I mean, like, okay, but without the bonds existing, these other assets, whether it's like derivatives and whatnot, they would not exist, right? So all of the world's money in one visualization. This is like 2 years ago. Let's see how many derivatives there are. All right. $1.2 quadrillion of derivative contracts 2 years ago. So it's probably, 3 or 4 times that number now. Low end estimate of the money supply, $630 trillion, blah, blah, blah. None of these things will exist, Sir Kenaz, by the way, if people started buying gold and silver. Because the bonds would be sold, people would go into gold and silver, and the derivatives contracts would be unwound. At that point, you're looking at world war for like resources in multiple countries simultaneously. Because again, without the derivatives contracts, you don't have a way to settle your disputes via commerce and trade. Well, pick up the guns, folks.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're, every economic collapse has ended in a war.
Yeah.
In a global war, essentially. Every end, what we're seeing this time. And people have looked and like, well, things got better after the war, therefore the war made them better. It's like, well, yeah, but it did by burning away a lot of this excess money and by burning away a lot of excess people.
That's right. Deflation. What happens in deflation? Everything deflates, including the labor supply. How do you deflate the labor supply? Oh, you just have millions of people die in war. There we go. Sir Richardson is here. All right, let's make him speaker.
Sir Richardson, welcome to our impromptu space.
Good afternoon or morning, I guess.
Good. It's
Yeah,
morning on our end. I believe it's afternoon on Sir Ahnaf's end. But we, in case you haven't noticed, the crypto market is crashing like a plane into the World Trade Center. I mean, it's going real
I like for
badly.
years, everyone's like, what are we going to do if like the USD dies? Oh, maybe we'll use crypto. And then the last second, everyone's like, no, gold and silver. Like,
bro,
crypto
is a fucking... Bro, crypto is a fucking NASDAQ ETF, man. Like, I knew this AI thing was bullshit when people were saying AI is going to save humanity and, stock market crashes will never happen again. I'm like, okay, but you're basically making the same sales pitch that the crypto bros did 10 years ago. But, like, their stuff, it just trades like a fucking NASDAQ ETF, man. So, AI and crypto are basically the same thing, man. They basically trade the exact same way. And... I mean, what? Are you trying to fool me with this crap? Oh, man.
I knew we were imminent when you just started seeing the video just hold up the entire market by itself and said, like, hey, we're making some bullshit up. We're partnering with Microsoft. Make the numbers pump again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of like our stock market has been massaged since 2008 because nobody wanted to see the stock market go down during their term in office.
Pretty much.
Unfortunately, I mean, that which goes up goes down. I mean, like, markets are cyclical. Markets have always been cyclical.
Mm-hmm.
And now, the way we kept it propped up was we used all of the, only break glass in case of emergency methods. We don't have any of those methods left.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when the stock market
I actually have a genius idea.
You have a genius idea? All right, let's hear it. How do you save the stock market, Sir Richardson? Go for it.
We revive quantitative easing and we print more money. It's genius. There's no way this could go wrong.
Genius, man.
Look how well it.
Give this guy the Nobel Prize. Give this guy the Nobel Prize in economics, man. Give this guy the Nobel Prize in economics.
What is it they call it? The modern monetary theory? Somebody the basic idea, the monetary theory. We discussed it with John Michael Greer. Was it's okay for governments to print money. They can print as much money as they want. The whole idea that money has to be tied to something is just an old primitive superstition based on the days of the gold standard? You know the theory I'm talking about. Like, there's a literal economic theory out there that says, like, when you run out of money, printing more money is a good thing.
Yeah. By the way, to print the money, this is actually what the normies don't understand. To print the money, you have to create new contracts. And when you create the contracts and you create the new things, more derivatives start to exist, right? So again, it's inflationary and whatnot. But here's the most important thing, right? If you look at Exeter's pyramid, the inverted pyramid, right? You've got gold and silver at the bottom, and on top you've got derivatives and these other things. In order for that to function, your money printing and whatever the fuck, people need to actually buy your bonds, man. Like in 2007, 2008, the Chinese stepped in and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll buy these American bonds. They're not gonna buy the American bonds, bros. They've actually offloaded their American bonds. Japan is probably gonna offload their American bonds as well. They're gonna continue doing so at accelerated speed because their fucking bonds are up, right? And the yen is cratering. So they're probably going to do an intervention. I mean, it's completely fucked, Sir Kenaz. Like, this time, if they actually print the money, they're going to get the exact opposite outcome. Because, like, no one's going to come in and buy the American bonds.
Yeah, I mean, we're already looking, Japan is very close to dumping a lot of American treasuries.
Yeah. It's like...
That's not going to make things better.
No. I think that the magic number is 160, right? So if the yen weakens against the American dollar to 160 or less, Bank of Japan has basically said we're going to intervene and we're going to try and fix things, right? That basically means, Sir Kenaz, that American treasuries are going to be dumped by the largest creditor and / holder of American treasuries. Yeah. Buckle up, boys and girls.
Yeah, that is going to be a rather large problem. Yeah.
Do you have the lube ready, Sir Kenaz?
It's like, I've just been waiting ever since I've been liberated. Like, I've been keeping the lube on hand. So.
Pass it off to Donald. He'll need a lot of it. He'll need an entire truck's supply worth of lube.
Didn't you hear JD Vance? He just said they needed more time. Just 2 more weeks.
Bro,
guys.
you just gotta be patient, man. You guys gotta be patient. Things will get better.
Just trust the plan.
Trust the plan, bros. Fucking goyim, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, the fucking... Alright, let me read this, actually. Hang on a second. I found something. Let me see what it says. Okay. Todd Stankovic. I don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies. Okay. BlackRock just deferred fees on a private credit fund because it failed a collateralization test. But sure, quote, nothing to see here, unquote. Totally normal stuff. Happens every day. Super healthy market. Feels a lot like 2007, but go ahead and keep telling yourself these private credit hiccups don't matter. What could possibly go wrong? Sir Kenaz, this time, like 2007, 2008, you had the housing bubble, subprime, and these things. This time, it's going to be private credit.
Hello?
And that stuff. Happy Liberation Day, Sir Kenaz.
Yeah, happy Liberation Day. Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I don't know what happened to that hiccup.
We just had a hiccup. Yeah, that happens on here. Now, let's see where we are at. Like, I'm kind of keeping an eye on NVIDIA because, that won't be the stock market crash, but its stocks turned mixed as Wall Street's turbulent week continues. Yeah.
Today's Friday, Sir Kenaz. I thought stocks always go. I thought stocks always go green on Friday. What am I missing?
Well, Black Friday. Yeah. It's not Black Friday yet, but like this is not, Okay, yeah, VIX is starting to go up a bit. There's still Dow Jones is still up, NASDAQ is down.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is still plumbing the depths. Yeah, Bitcoin is going lower. That's a trending ticker. People are just realizing, people are realizing that Bitcoin is a volatile investment.
Shocked Pikachu face.
Yeah, I mean,
shocked Pikachu face.
Bitcoin's always been that's like I said, that's since the inception, Bitcoin has been one of those hold on to your hats. Like there's some if you're making a lot, make sure you cash out stuff regularly to make sure that you've got cash on hand for it, because you can lose everything in like 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear.
Okay, consumer confidence deteriorated to a reading of 51 as worries about higher prices and job losses remain at the top of everybody's mind. Okay, NVIDIA is now down 3%. Yeah, NVIDIA, that one I'm keeping an eye on, and it's not just down 3%, it's the number one most active stock on the market right now.
Yeah.
That's, again, a significant chunk of the stock market's value is NVIDIA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What is the VIX at? The VIX is at 26.8. It's 27. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. If it gets to 28, it might just spike up.
Okay,
20. This is going to be very fun, Sir Kenaz.
Yeah, this is 27.
Get the lube ready, Sir Kenaz.
Yeah, it's
Get
going
the lube
up.
ready.
Let's see. In the past, this is the highest it's been in the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not the highest it's been in the year to date, because we did have it got up to 60 in April when the Trump tariff started.
Yeah.
So, it's like, there's an easy way to fix the tariff problem was to start backing away from it. There's really no way to back away from what looks like it's going on now. Yeah, S&P has lost a lot of its gains. Dow is still up a little bit. NASDAQ still a bit down. Yeah, this is not looking to be a good day. Let's see. Maybe it's going to be, maybe we'll have something happen that, between now and 4:00 that will boost the stock market and give everybody a fresh thing of confidence. But, one of the things is anybody who had a lot invested in cryptocurrencies is likely to be dumping stocks for cash as quick as they can.
Yeah. Sir Richardson is sharing something from Unusual Whales. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang told staff the whole world would have fallen apart if NVIDIA delivered a bad quarter. So much chutzpah, man.
Yeah, he's not actually far off. It's like NVIDIA, if the biggest stock in the market crashes.
Yeah.
It's fucking over.
Yeah.
Sell.
It's fucking over. Sell? Not yet. Here's the hilarious thing. The VIX is only at 27.4. So technically, this is still fucking correction, right? It's not fucking over yet, right? That's why I told Sir Kenaz, get the lube ready, but we're not there yet, right? This is not the actual market crash. This is still correction territory. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
America should just be auctioned off to the Boomer Jeet Kike Alliance at this point. They can't govern themselves, right? They should just.
I like that. If you've heard of Basil's take on it's all one thing being tech, pharma, finance, defense, Boomer Jeet Kike, I think, is a good pairing to that.
Oh, bro, I'm just speaking the truth, man. I'm just listen, man. these people, they bitch and whine about boomers all day. They don't do shit, right? Charlie Kirk gets assassinated. They forget about him in like 3 weeks. They're a bunch of fucking pussies. They're never gonna do anything, right? They're gonna emigrate as soon as the shooting starts. So I'm just like, okay, but if that's true, right? You talk a big game online, but in real life, you're just a fucking pussy. If all of that's true, just sell the country, man. Sell the country, make a shit ton of money, get the fuck out. You're a civilian, get the fuck out, right? And the boomers, right? They will have more money, then they'll auction it off to the kikes and the jeets. And then those guys will have the country. So what the fuck's the problem? Oh, I'm not gonna auction my birthright. Motherfucker. Of course you will. Of course you will. You're a fucking craven coward. Of course you will auction off your birthright. Because that's exactly what you are. Right? And so I don't see what the problem is, man. I really don't. I'm gonna try and get Sir Ornov Jindal in, and we're gonna make him like a regular just to like spite people. But I'm at that point now, man, where I don't give a fuck anymore. Like I'm just like these people just deserve to be replaced, man. That's my take on it, man. Uh, Especially the way like the thing that really, I wouldn't say black pilled me, but the thing that reality pilled me on this subject was me watching how they reacted to the SNAP benefits and like how they were like, yeah, let's cut off the SNAP benefits. And I'm like, okay, but whites in West Virginia and Kentucky are going to starve. And they're like, well, no, it's going to be blacks and browns and fuck them. And, we don't actually care about poor white people. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay. Like, you guys are fucking irrelevant, man. So
No one hates white people more than white nationalists.
Yeah,
oh, bro,
absolutely.
exactly.
That's been a recurring complaint of mine. It's like, I was always like, you fuckers will go on and on. You got a brown Snow White, you got a black Little Mermaid, and like you will just shriek and shriek for months about that shit. You got white Americans dying of overdoses, dying of suicide, dying deaths of fucking despair. And you can't be bothered with that. You can't be bothered with seeing that working class white people, working class people in general, that an honest day's work deserves an honest day's pay. You can't be bothered about that, but God damn it, put a black fucking elf in Rings of Power.
Yeah, exactly, man. It's not a serious group. They're LARPing, they're cosplaying, and you know what? Let me actually read this out to you. I wrote a Substack note, right? And this is like one of those guests we had previously, right? And the name of this sir is Person Online, right? Person Online is his Substack handle. That's his actual name. And then he just says, okay, do not call yourself a nativist or anti-immigration. Say that you are pro-labor and pro-citizen, that you are anti-employer and anti-foreigner. I will attempt to hold myself to this linguistic rule. When dealing with liberals, also throw in that you do not believe in trickle-down economics. Trickle-down economics is a theory that if wealthy employers are allowed to further enrich themselves by importing quasi-slave labor from the third world, they will eventually allow some of that wealth to trickle down to everyone else somehow. Okay, and then I restacked and I responded as follows. Okay. Most dissident right, whatever that means, LOL, people aren't pro-labor and pro-citizen. They don't care about whites in West Virginia and Kentucky losing access to medicines and food, so long as the blacks and browns are suffering as well. They also don't care about the basics of their society and its cohesion, and goad for others to begin shooting to kill their family, relatives, friends, etc. in cold blood. They never will do the deed themselves, as they're essentially craven cowards. So I don't think the libtards or frankly anyone else are going to be falling for it. Especially if this is going to be the sales pitch and these Drumpf worshippers, ethno-nationalists, Zion worshippers, etc., suddenly donned this other mask to try and scam people into this nonsense. The left are like a broken clock on this issue. They happen to be correct out of sheer accident regarding the overall anti-social sociality rather, and irrelevance of these people and how they are a complete anathema to the basic civic orders functioning. Yeah, I mean, like, bros, I'm just like, the terminally online bunch, you gotta treat them like fucking pariahs, right? Especially if they're advocating for people starving and not getting medicine, man. I mean, at that point, you've lost the plot, man. You don't deserve any power and influence whatsoever. You're anathema, you're a pariah, you need to be mowed down. And what's the best way to mow you down? The great replacement, man. You just gotta get absolutely replaced. You gotta get replaced in every area of life. By the Indians, by the Jews, by everyone. Everyone should just replace you, man. Because you are completely anathema. So, yeah, like I said, this government shutdown and the way people talked about Snap and these other things, they're just like, yeah, man, this is just, okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna sign up for this crap. Get the fuck out of here. And, like, the Boomer Jeet Kike Alliance should defeat you guys. Just my view.
Oh, Axios, Trump's full 28-point plan for peace. Kiev will have to give up additional territory in the east, cap the size of its military, and agree it will never join NATO. In other words, it lost. Those are all things Russia demanded in 2022.
I'm glad to see we're catching up with after 3 years of bloodshed. Going great here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, guys, what, this was never a winnable war. It's like, you should have done this earlier. I'm sorry that a lot of American politicians use Ukraine as a money laundering tip, but find a fucking new one.
Yeah.
I was listening to a Pete Canyeras podcast about the Balkan Wars. I was finishing it up today, and the guest, Thomas77, said, it's a good thing that the current cadre in charge of Washington was not there when the Balkan Wars were going on, because it would have only been immensely worse. And it's like, you know what? Of all the wars to bungle, this is probably the best one. It's been very low in terms of civilian casualties, all things considered. It's relatively contained, but still just been absolute fucking shit show. And of course, I look at it when I pay $3.70 for a fucking gallon of gas.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. The full plan. Ukraine's sovereignty will be confirmed. A comprehensive non-aggression agreement will be concluded between Russia, Ukraine, and Europe. All ambiguities of the last 30 years will be considered settled. It is expected that Russia will not invade neighboring countries and NATO will not expand further.
Okay, so Kenaz, what did it say? It is expected? Is that what it fucking said?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is not a peace plan. This is just a fucking wish list. It is expected of you. It is expected of you, Russia, to not do this.
I mean, I can see where Russia has to realize at this point, what are we going to do? Whoa, sir, Russia is invading Poland. Russia is at the border of Poland. We'd better put a new round of sanctions in place.
Yeah.
I mean, there's, nobody has the stomach for a nuclear exchange, and we don't have the ability to project force into Europe to stop a Russian invasion of Eastern Europe at this point. I don't believe that we do.
Au contraire, there was a couple days of discussion over, the Russian nuclear arsenal probably doesn't work, so we can win a nuclear war because, the U.S. nuclear arsenal certainly works.
Yeah, the U.S. nuclear arsenal, I mean, if we're talking about the Minutemans, I wouldn't bet a sizable amount of money on any of those popping off at this point. If we're talking about the ICBMs, I mean, if we're talking about, we've got an arsenal in like a sea arsenal, a land arsenal, etc., but nobody really wants to see a nuclear war, and there is a non-trivial risk of that happening if this escalates to World War III.
Sir Kenaz, you're forgetting the most important thing. It's not just about the arsenal, it's also about the basic decision-making process. How many of you gents have watched what's the name of that stupid movie? A House of Dynamite. Have any of you watched it yet?
I haven't, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's like, once nuclear weapons start firing around, you're now dealing with computer algorithms rather than people. And, it's the same problem we're seeing running in we're going to see with a stock collapse or a securities collapse. Most of the big hedge funds that hold these things, and
Yeah.
most of the decision making for nuclear weapons comes down to computer algorithms.
But that's the thing, though, Sir Kenaz. That's the thing. The premise of the show, it's very intriguing, right? It takes an old concept, but it makes it so it's a single nuclear warhead flying towards Chicago. It's only one nuclear warhead.
Oh God, please,
flying
Chicago.
towards. No. I'm saying, okay. So the premise of the show is one nuclear warhead is fired at Chicago, and the satellites were spoofed, so the Americans don't know who fired it, right? And it's going to hit in 20 minutes, and they don't know who fired it, so they don't know what the response should be, right? And so what they do is they go to DEFCON 1 immediately, right? Within like 7 minutes or so of the thing firing. They fired their GDIs from Alaska. The GDIs didn't intercept it, obviously, because you're trying to hit a bullet with a bullet. It doesn't fucking work. And, there's about 10, 11 minutes left till it hits Chicago. The Russian foreign minister says, obviously, bro, we had nothing to do with it. I talked to the Chinese. The Chinese have nothing to do with it, right? North Koreans aren't picking up the phone. Other people aren't picking up the phone. So they don't know who's firing it. And then the movie ends with the American president being asked, National Command Authority activated. So, Mr. President, what's your decision? And we never know what his decision is. But like, if you want to know how America dies in an actual nuclear war, that's actually pretty realistic. Of like, Chicago is taken out, right? And no matter what decision you make, you're in Zugzwang, right? You can make the decision of, I'm not going to fire back, in which case people have now figured out the threshold for nuclear tolerance is, we just got to fire one missile at a time at America until millions of Americans are killed that way. So nuclear terrorism, right? That's option number one. Or option number two is America, like the mad dog, fires everything it's got at everyone else, and then everyone else can combine their nuclear forces and fire at America simultaneously, right? So, enough. Nuclear war is not winnable. Well, I mean, the death toll is going to be 2 billion, but there's 8 billion people on the planet, so there are people out there who will make that calculation.
We are making a serious effort to find a solution that will end the war in Ukraine. The same way we ended the war in Gaza. We believe this plan is not easy, but it is good for Ukraine, the senior White House official said. You're going to bring us peace in Ukraine the way you brought us peace in Gaza.
Okay, no worries. Sending you the link now. Sir Cleveland had a computer update, so he apologizes profusely. Sir Richardson, go ahead.
So the whole thing with trying, I know the White House is trying to compare it to the Gaza deal, but it's like, well, on one conflict you have leverage because Iran basically is kind of just like having its own like political stuff going on. But on this front, like Russia has all the leverage, so they're trying to do like the same playbook, and then Russia's like, no, though. And they're just not. Then you start watching the U.S. like jumping down, like up and down, really frantically, like you need to buy into this.
The Russians can just say, look. The Russians can just say, bro, listen, man. You want to wear the fucking costume, jump up and down like a fucking, whatever, man. You can do it, man. But we just don't.
Like Putin was just like wryly analyzing the treaty,
yeah,
in like a fucking military uniform. It's like, yeah, that's their message. Like, he was just joking about it. Like, he wasn't even taking it seriously.
Yeah, exactly. I sent the link to Sir Cleveland, good sir. So he'll be here momentarily. We'll talk about the crypto winter crash with him as well, but I think Sir Cleveland will be more interested to talk about how Trump betrayed everyone and everything he stood for. So that'll be fun.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a long conversation.
It's going to be a long.
This is just like, I I mean, one thing I think that Trump has going for him, and we've been seeing it for a while. A lot of what you see on social media, the really ardent MAGA support, comes from either paid influencers or botnets.
Mhm.
I think Trump is managed. Sir Cleveland is with us.
There we go. The man, the myth, the legend is here. All right, let me make him co-host directly. All right. Invite to speak. Invite to co-host. All right, let's do that directly.
If I might
All right,
add,
Sir Cleveland,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if I
Please.
might add real quick, I live in a place where you could certainly see Trump support from, all the way through 2024 up until the election. People flying Trump flags on their trucks, Trump signs everywhere. They're not up here anymore.
Yeah.
You don't see the flags anymore.
No. No, sir. No, sir. Because the thing is, Trump has shown us who he truly is. Trump is on the Boomer, Kike, Jeet alliance, man. That's what he's on. Sir Cleveland, you are speaker.
Yeah, can you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3.
We hear ya.
Yes,
hear
sir.
ya.
You're good. You're good.
Loud and clear.
You're good. All right. Excellent. Excellent. I'll make you co-host, and I'll make Sir Kenaz co-host as well. We might have more people show up. I don't know yet, but honestly, Sir Cleveland, at this point, my take on it is, these people, they don't care about the poor white people in Kentucky and West Virginia not having access to food and medicine and all these other things. They're not actually white nationalists. They're not actually real racists. So, what the fuck is the problem? Just get replaced by Indians and get replaced by Jews. I don't see what the problem is. Like, you've already surrendered the country, so you just be the craven coward that you are and, fulfill your destiny. I don't see what the issue is. I really don't.
It's crazy how much things have changed since the last time I was on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
The whole bottom is falling out of MAGA, and the whole thing has turned out to be, probably was a gigantic intelligence operation from the beginning, just to give people hope.
Yeah.
But within the space of 48 hours, Trump came out and said a bunch of stuff that makes you think he was either killed and replaced, or he always felt like that. But either way, I would say MAGA just got flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
If Trump
Sir Cleveland, Americans are not talented. Yeah, Sir Cleveland, Americans aren't talented. Therefore, young Indians have to be shown, come in here by H-1Bs, and they have to train our people.
It's really bad. You couldn't turn on your base more than to come out and say that. And the 50-year mortgage was the start. The 50-year mortgage was a crazy thing to talk about. You thought, whose side is this guy on, Yeah. Imagine being tied up for a half a century just to buy a house. That's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It seems obvious that Trump was maybe controlled behind the scenes now, and he's just puppeting whatever they tell him to say. And luckily for Christians, if you're a real Christian, you knew better than to put all your hope in one man. They'll disappoint you, and Trump was never a Christian, so you can't even be disappointed that he's not guided by the Word of God. I don't think he was really guided by anything, and now it looks like, he's being run by the people that really...
Sir Cleveland. Yeah. Sir Cleveland, he was guided by the almighty dollar. And he kissed the wall. Look, he kissed the wall, and he's guided by the shekels, right?
Yeah.
So, again, the Boomer Jeet Kike alliance, the Jews and the Indians, they run him, Sir Cleveland. They run him. It's like, oh my gosh, the Muslims are conquering. Bro, the fucking Indians and the Jews have way more influence than us, man. They got their fucking guy elected.
I have to say yes. And they're putting more money into the political process. And President Trump doesn't have a lot of money to put into it. But most of their funding is coming from Jewish and Indian sources. And they have spoken, being phased out. The original white European population, we can assume, has simply been discarded. That's the end of them.
Yeah.
Well, they turned on Israel. Of course, that has to be the end of them.
Yeah.
They've run out of usefulness.
How many people believe that they can really pull the tablecloth out from under the furnishings in North America and just have the same country but with new replacements from overseas, from completely incompatible cultures, how many people believe
Yeah.
that you can really do that? It's easy to destroy, but that would require some creation to replace
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
existing population. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't believe the
No. No. No.
robots.
No.
The
No.
robots are going to do everything. It's like Mike
No. No.
Judge's
No.
Idiocracy. It's
Yeah.
science fantasy. It's not going to happen.
No. 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 Like I joked about this. Like we had a speaker from Mumbai, India, and I congratulated him in advance. I'm like, you guys conquered 9.6 million square kilometers of land without firing a single shot. The leader of the enemy or foe or whatever you want to call him went on live television. He said Americans aren't talented. They should be replaced by Indians, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Sir Arnav Jindal. And I basically told them, look, it honestly, the advice Americans should get is, hey, you guys want to work with your hands?
Yeah.
Excellent, man. You can be carpenter, you can be a painter, but you know what you're going to be painting and carpenting? You're going to be painting and carpenting the giant wooden statues for like the Hindu gods. So like Hanuman and then like Kali and these things. That's where the money's at, bro. Right? You can do that, or you can like fillet the Jews, man. Those are your two options. So
I've met Indian people in Australia who were very competent in IT, very
yeah.
competent, but they're the minority, just like all.
Yeah, they're the
Among whether
yeah.
it doesn't matter whether they're white or Indian, the rule is grotesque incompetency. So
Yeah.
if you look at white Europeans and Australians, say, well, these guys are all incompetent. It's true, and the people that you were going to bring in from India, they're as bad or worse. So how's that solve the problem? I guess they'd be cheaper, but the established population in Australia was just dismal. They were really depressing.
Yeah.
And the new replacements that they brought in from overseas, I think they plan to get more cheaply, but it's not going to improve the overall economy a bit because they too, raised in the modern world and under many modern declining standards, they're going to be incompetent.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, right, H-1B, what is H-1B? 80% of H-1Bs are Indians, 10 to 15% are Chinese, 5% to 10% is everyone else. What types of jobs are H-1Bs? 60-70% of the H-1B jobs are entry-level jobs. So these are jobs done by like university graduates at the bachelor's level, or like those types of people. But then there's a significant component of H-1Bs which are like you only need a high school degree to do them. So it's like, okay, 7-Eleven cashier, or like, store manager for like a liquor store, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're telling Americans that you're not talented enough, what you're really telling them is your high school graduates and your young people and your university graduates are so fucking irrelevant that I gotta go to fucking Mumbai, get a 19-year-old Indian guy to do your job, right? That's basically what Trump said, Sir Cleveland. He said it on live television.
I see it in a lot of ways as deciding that the current population is incompetent, which is correct.
Yeah.
White European population right now is just absolutely a wash. They're just no good. But the idea that, well, we'll pick some random culture from overseas, and these guys are all IT qualified, so we'll bring them in to replace them. I've seen that done already. It won't work. I saw it done in Australia, and the new crop were just as bad as the old crop, if not worse.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely correct. Like, by the way, this is the logic of empire. The logic of empire, and America in 2025 is an empire. Like, the logic of empire is that we gotta squeeze the labor market for all the fucking value. Yeah. And then, the native population can't do the job. All right, man, fucking get the Africans and Indians in here, right? Yeah. We got a fucking empire to run. Fuck these people, right? And that's what it is, right? I mean, you're talking about Australia, right? Yeah. Here's the hilarious thing, right? Like, Stephen Miller and these people, right? They, in 2018, 2019, they wanted, and I think this is still their worldview, they wanted a immigration system in America which is similar to the Canadian and Australian immigration system, right? But okay, let me give you some numbers. Okay, these are the official numbers, by the way. I think the numbers are much higher than this. Okay, America in the year 2024, 52,375,047 immigrants. Okay, Sir Cleveland,
15.2% of the population in America, by official numbers, is an immigrant population. All right, let me pick another country here. All right, let's pick Canada. All right. Sir Cleveland, what percentage of the Canadian population is immigrant?
I think I read this the other day. It's 30%.
Okay, so not there yet. But Canada is 8,805,839, which is 23%. All right.
Wow.
Australia, Sir Cleveland. Australia, your favorite place. What is Australia at?
I think it's minor. I'm always losing these quizzes. I think it's quite minor. It's like 15%.
Okay, so Australia is actually 30%. Australia is Australia is 30.1%. 7,111,404 people are immigrants. Australia's total population is 28 million.
Dang, you're screwed. As soon as you hear that figure, that is truly screwed.
Yeah.
Because I worked with a lot of those guys, and I mean, they were just as bad off as the natives. So they weren't bringing any new hope, nothing like that. There was no new hope in them.
But by the way, Sir Cleveland, in order for you to reach a number higher than 30%, right? So now let me give you a few of these countries. All right. Let me give you a few of these countries. All right. So Canada, 23%, Australia, 30%, Bermuda is at 31%. Holy shit. Okay. All right. Sir Cleveland, what do these countries have in common? Saudi Arabia, 40.3%. Oman, 43.2%. Bahrain, 52.3%. What are we at here? Kuwait, 67.3%. United Arab Emirates, 74%. Qatar is the highest, 76.7%. Sir Cleveland, what do all these guys have in common?
But I just want to add to this. Those are immigrant workers, but these guys, these guys pay top dollar. They probably get the best talent in the world there. All the competent people from the other nations go to work there because they pay such good money. So even though it's mostly immigrant labor, the very context says that when their work is done, they're not going to become a citizen. They're going to go home and they'll be enriched for it. They're going to cash out with pretty good money when they leave. But I worked there briefly, and that's the very best of the best they hire. They don't hire any bums over there.
So you're about 80% correct. They do hire bums, but basically there's a few sectors where, like construction in these places, where they basically hire every Indian, Pakistani, and Bengali that they can. And these are like low-skilled labor, right? Like
I probably
they basically
saw much of that in my industry. I didn't see much of them.
Yeah. Like the reason they do it is because when they're building these giant skyscrapers, and they're like, okay, well, we need a bunch of workers, and we want zero regulation, and if they die, well, sucks to be them, man, but they're just a bunch of fucking workers. They can just die, and the skyscraper is gonna get built, right? So the thing with these societies is that all of them are autocracies. They're all monarchies, right? They've got no workers' protections whatsoever. Like you said, you're correct. Nobody has citizenship there, right? You need to wait at least 30, 40 years for citizenship, so no, it's never going to happen. Very, very strict with regard to who can show up. 70-80% of the population is male, right? 18 to 29 years old. The reason they don't throw a fuss and destroy stuff is because they're next to the Prophet's mosque, in Saudi Arabia, so they're on their best behavior. Lots of other things. For example, right, when they come and they're sponsored by their employer or whatever, right, they basically have very little legal protections and whatnot. Long story short, in order for Australia and Canada and these places to have a functional society, for like, okay, well, now we're going to have 40-50% immigrant population, they would have to curtail not just the legal protections and all these other things, but they would have to use actual kinetic force and miraculously become like some kind of autocracy, which is not happening, folks. I mean, if you're going to attempt that, your society is going to get flushed down the toilet, right? I mean, people are going to outright fight you and be like, okay, well, I am this guy with these political views, but you want to turn the republic into a fucking monarchy over my dead body, right? And so it's like, yeah, good luck trying to make Australia, Canada, or like America into a monarchy. It's not gonna happen, man.
You want to hear something interesting? My first day in Qatar,
Yeah.
I realized they hire a much better grade of person because in Australia, the Indians worshipped SharePoint like a holy
Yeah.
temple. They
Yeah.
install Microsoft SharePoint. They swear by it, and of course, it never works, and no one ever uses it. But every new Indian swears that SharePoint will solve all the company's problems, right? So when
Yeah.
I was in Qatar and we went into the meeting room, my Indian boss came in. He immediately goes to the desk. He picks up the stack of new SharePoint software they just purchased that we're supposed to use on the site. And he goes and
Yeah.
drops it in the garbage can in front of everybody. And I thought, oh, we're in new territory here. This guy is a cut above
Yeah.
the people that you
Yeah.
work with in Australia. He told me
Mm.
we're only going to use things that work here, and we won't be using any Microsoft SharePoint or any of that. And I thought, wow. So I figured they must pay such good wages that the best and the brightest apply for the roles,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't see that in Australia. That's like considered blasphemy to say that
Yeah.
SharePoint doesn't work.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when I was there, almost everybody that I met, this was in IT, not in construction, but the
Mhm.
people working in the IT industry, you can see they had been culled from a huge field of applicants, and they were really good. So I figured this is a good example of how capitalist autonomy and meritocracy works. You know, when you pay enough money. In
Yeah.
Qatar, it works, but in
Yeah.
most countries, they talk about these things, and then they hire the worst and the least, not the best and the brightest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, they're very ruthless, basically. Like these
yeah,
societies, they're very, very ruthless. They're absolutely like if you're correct, they do hire talent, but then, like I said, there's that entire economy of like slave
right,
labor, right? But
right,
like from their point of view, it's like they're here, they're working, we're paying them a shit ton of money. We got the oil revenue, they're getting the
yeah.
money. What the fuck is the problem, man? Right?
You know
They're
what?
getting very, very high wages. Yeah.
You have
Yeah.
that hanging over your head when you work there. You
Yeah.
know, unlike in Australia, these guys aren't messing around. If you don't produce, you're going
Yeah.
home. You get
Yeah.
paid really well, but if you don't produce as quickly as they'd like, you're going home. So I think
Oh yeah.
turns out that meritocracy can work really good
Yeah.
if you make certain that people understand. You know, you have to deliver some value. In Australia,
Oh
they
yeah.
have people getting paid $140 an hour who sit
Yeah.
there for 6 months and do nothing.
Oh yeah.
Everybody else has got to do their work because they're literally getting paid the highest possible rate, and they don't do anything other than talking. They never produce anything. So it's in the general demeanor of the whole culture, whether or not they insist on excellence. And I have a feeling in Qatar, whether you're a construction worker or an office worker, you know, you're there to produce. It's no fun and games is out in that country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, in these countries, there's a large male surplus because of all these migrant
Right.
workers. So the country behaves very differently
Right.
versus in Europe and America, where there's a large female surplus, right?
Do you know
So
if the West hadn't aborted itself into these numbers, if they hadn't aborted themselves, we'd have a surplus of males and we'd have a
yeah,
meritocracy. Males would realize I've got to compete to get a slot in here, and if I don't get the best slot, it's because I have not put forward my best effort. But
yeah,
in our abortions, it's made human life so cheap and sparse. People
yeah,
hire a guy because he applied for the job. He's the
yeah,
only
yeah,
one to apply for it. There's not a
yeah,
surplus of males, and people who just show up and mouth the words, they may not
yeah.
be sincere. They get jobs in IT where they're just human bookmarks. They're just
Oh
holding
yeah.
a position. Yeah, so Qatar gave me the impression that it is run as efficiently as the West used to be, but
Mhm.
they're not like that at all anymore. And I reckon abortion and the end of the surplus of male labor has actually driven prices down, because when people know the overall market is basically very low quality males, they're going to
Yeah.
assume, you know, you'll be happy to make $50 an hour at
Mhm.
IT. And they're right. In
Mhm.
Australia, all the free surplus Indian labor has simply driven down rates in IT, so maybe it succeeded in that
Mhm.
sense.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
Australians still aren't producing anything, period.
Still not
Well,
producing anything.
the thing with America and abortion especially is that kind of go into the issue of immigration in America is you come here and then you just stop having kids. This place is a gene shredder.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, if we just keep bringing in people, we will never have people with an expectation of living a decent life. It's like, well, you've seen our media, you know what it's like. You can come here, and then at some point India's going to get emptied out, but I don't know what'll happen after that.
I mean, India's gonna get emptied out? Nah, bro. There's 1.5 billion people there. I mean,
they can keep coming. There's infinite replacement, but it'll just make the United States into new India. That's all that'll happen.
Akhan Bharat, Greater India. That's what we called the previous episode.
Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, I don't expect the immigration to continue forever. Like, eventually America's gonna go broke and people are gonna emigrate. But like, the concept people have of mass deportations, man, it's not gonna happen, right? Like, the military force does not exist for that anymore.
You would need state capacity, and you would just need to do it on the low key. Like, Iran, I think, deported millions of people, like, after, like, everything that happened with the Israeli war. And they just did it. They didn't do Cape shit. They just did it quietly. Like, they weren't doing, like, performance fully and, like, releasing videos about it.
Yeah, bro, they talked to the Afghan government. They're like, look, man, we gotta deport these people temporarily because the Israelis are paying them to do terrorism, right? So they're gonna be treated humanely. We're gonna cooperate with you 100%, and they're gonna be deported that way. And like, no Cape shit, no cruelty, no like camera angle bullshit, just sheer efficiency, right? Like, oh, enough, theocracy and monarchy and autocracy, evil, blah, 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 democracy. Bro, your fucking democracy can't do shit. They can't even do mass deportations properly, right? Look at how much Iran did, right? And so it's like, okay, Iran did all this, and again, they didn't treat the migrants like shit. They treated them humanely and what have you. And it's like, Europe, what's Europe gonna do? Europe, the migrants are like an ocean away, right? They're not even like having a common land border or whatever, right? Which Iran and Afghanistan does, right? They're not cooperating with these governments. Many of these governments, Germany and whatnot, right? Like in the 1980s, they just gassed Iranian children, right? Yeah. Did you notice, by the way, like German chemical factories and companies were selling the Iraqis via the Americans, right? America always does the dirty work, right? So via the Americans and the Israelis, the German companies were selling Zyklon and these other gases and these other chemical compounds to be used on Iranian kids.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. I mean, it's a genetic thing for the Germans, right? They always want to fuck people up. So that's kind of like, they're just craven criminals, man. The whole lot of them, right? So
I'm just watching the whole, like, what Iran did, and then I just compare it to the U.S., and, like, the U.S. is deporting less people than Biden, and then I'm, like, watching video where they have people, like, actually in, like, slave chains, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Because I'm just imagining, like, okay, like, how many months until they accidentally do this, like, a Chinese citizen, and we have, like, an international incident?
Yeah, basically.
Well, the thing with the deportations in Iran is, like, I don't think the Afghanis were ever really integrated into Iranian society. They were just, like, living in camps on the eastern edge of Iran where it's like, some Mossad agent comes up to you and says, hey, you want $1,000? Go do this. So it's easy to recruit them. Whereas in America,
it's very easy.
In America, the immigration is like built into it. This is the economic system. We're going to take you and integrate you into our society because without you, we are going to fucking fall apart economically.
Yeah, bro, like you're absolutely correct. Like what the Afghans were doing was they were like fruit sellers and they were like watch repairmen and they were doing like basic stuff. Some of them got some good jobs and stuff, and I think those guys stayed. But most of them, they're like refugees of like the multiple wars Afghanistan's been through, right? And the way the Mossad guys were operating was like they would come up to them. They would not introduce themselves as Mossad. They would just be like, okay, look, you're like a fruit seller, and 5 blocks down the road, there's a guy who lives there. All I want you to do is write down the times in which he's coming in and coming out and just relay it to me. That's it, right? And if you do that hundreds and thousands of times, you have enough actionable intelligence to do like assassinations, basically, right? That's what Mossad was doing. Many of these guys, like, they're like poor, like I said, they're fruit sellers and watch repairmen. They don't even know what they got signed up for, right? But you're absolutely right, good sir. Like this is completely different from in America, where it's like, oh yeah, we want you to pick strawberries, and we want you to do this other thing, and we want you to do this other thing.
And then the guy goes, okay, you're literally telling me to do everything. And they're like, yeah, man, because like that, you can be paid the dirt cheap wages and whatever the fuck. And yeah, like without you, the thing falls apart, man. Right? So it's so funny, man. It's so funny. Oh, it's such a dysfunctional society.
I'm
Jeez.
not bashing on them, but a lot of these kosher mythologies about economics and the job market,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just a narrative, and they're supposed to work, but they don't. If they
They
did,
don't. Yeah.
they'd be practiced in Israel. They
Yeah.
practice these things in Israel. The reason they don't is because maybe even subconsciously they're well aware that none of these ideas work. They stink. Nobody in their right mind would try to overcome inflation and these other things by just importing foreigners, as many as they could get.
Yeah.
So all these things that Israelis have such a strong influence on the American government, they are foreign to our Constitution. They're foreign to our ideas about the way economies work. They're foreign to 2,000 years of revealed information about human nature. Human beings don't work the way that Israelis insist they do.
Yeah.
Well,
The thing is, they use the country as an experimental laboratory to try the same old failed ideas that they've tried in every nation they've ever lived. They're
Exactly.
failed ideas. They don't work.
I
Yeah.
don't think it's a failed idea. I think it's just looting.
It's looting, yeah. Well, like the reason the Israelis don't use the Israelis use migrant labor from like a bunch of these Arab places and a bunch of these like Southeast Asia, like Thailand, Philippines, right? I mean, you should check the assault rates for like how many rapes happen against the Thai and Filipino woman. But like
It's
the
100%.
oh yeah. But the thing with the Israelis is that the Israelis have the Americans giving them tens of billions of dollars per annum, right? So they're getting subsidized, man. I mean, the fact that the Israelis have like free health insurance and these kinds of things, that's at the expense of the American taxpayer, right? So it's like, the rules apply to D, but not for me, man. Like, oh, you guys gotta take in a billion bajillion Indians, but us, oh no, we're the chosen people, man. We're gonna get the free money. We're gonna get the usury. We're gonna get the free everything. You guys, man, oh, you gotta deal with that other stuff. Because again, like the Goyim have, like Sir Cleveland, the farmer lives in the nice house, and the Goyim, they live in the stables, man. That's what the rule is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And they send us off on these wild boondoggles. They wait for a generation to forget how stupid these socialist ideas are. And then they turn around and elect a guy like Mamdani again. New York's been through a dozen socialist cycles in which they were going to create a utopia. They went bankrupt and they had to have the federal government bail them out or lose New York City. They owe, going back over 100 years, they owe money to the federal government. And now here we are through the same cycle. So you have to wonder who's stupider here, the guy that's running the game, guy that's running the grift, or the people that fall for it every single generation because they don't know history, they don't know about the past, so they just rehash these same old errors over and over again. I'm not sure which one of them I'm most disgusted with. I feel the American people have no excuse because they had access to first-rate education their whole lives. They had access to the library, and they could have embraced a lot more useful narratives about history than the ones that they've embraced. They made America quite simple when, in fact, America's economy and their history is quite complex, and that they embraced a lot of different ideas at the beginning. They learned from their mistakes and then went forward. By the time they shot Kennedy in the head, the country had benefited from 200 years of trial and error on top of the foundation of the Constitution. And at the moment that President Kennedy was declared dead, they forgot about everything. And now they're, once again, the whole country's infatuated with socialism and communist utopias that will never come to pass. And I feel like reasoning with these people is a waste of time. They're going to make these mistakes and nothing's going to stop them. And they're going to end up culling themselves, which they're doing right now.
Sir
They're
Cleveland, Sir
Yeah.
Cleveland, Sir Cleveland.
Yeah.
The thing is, right? The thing is, Mamdani is just like Obama 2.0, right?
2.0.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like the reason he got elected is not because, oh, everyone now believes in no, that's not the reason he got elected. The reason he got elected is because everyone's playing a negative sum game. They're just like, okay, I belong to this race, class, and religious group,
Yeah.
and these are my friends, these are my enemies. Who can I elect that's gonna give me all the stuff from the other
Yeah.
groups? Right? Again, like I don't care about social cohesion, man. I care about what does my group get and what do my friends get. And all
Yeah.
those other guys, fuck them, man. Just fuck them. How
So
do
this
I
is
fuck
in
them right in the ass? And
William
who do I
Gibbons,
elect? Yeah.
Sir John Glove,
Yeah.
and Spengler, when they
Yeah.
wrote about the end of civilization, they write that they're all divided into these groups, special interest groups, who are trying to
Yeah.
rob the treasury for their own benefit. And they're all a ship of fools. They don't realize you all sink or swim together. But just like now, every little special interest group, racial group, ethnic group, they
Yeah.
all divide up and they fight over the spoils. Pretty soon
That's basically
there won't be any spoils.
the thing is, Sir Cleveland, this is the okay, enough. What does politics look like post Donald Trump? Like the Caudillo, you know what a Caudillo is, Sir Cleveland, right?
Yes.
A Caudillo is basically like a Latin American dictator, right? So
Yeah.
like the Caudillo of California, Gavin Newsom, he's gonna win the pres. I mean, let's assume America doesn't collapse in 2028. Okay, if it doesn't collapse in 2028, Gavin Newsom is gonna come in and go, okay, man, I'm just gonna promise you all this stuff, right? And it's not even socialism. It's just gonna be like, oh, this ethnic group gets this religious group gets that, this other guy gets this, and your enemies are gonna get fucked. I'm gonna fuck your enemies up, right? And that's how you're
Yeah.
going to win, Sir Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
And that's the calculation. Like Mamdani got elected, and the Democrats destroyed the Republicans in these elections. Why? Because they basically said, we're going to fuck your enemies up. We're going to fuck them up, right? And that promise, and that's what I'm saying. Like America today, what is America today? America today is everyone preparing for the inevitable. They're like, I got to shoot my friends. I got to shoot my neighbors. I gotta shoot my family. I gotta shoot my relatives, right? And I'm gonna prepare for it, right? Some of them are, many of them are not serious. Many of them, as soon as the shooting starts, they're gonna emigrate. They're gonna run. Others are genuinely serious. But at that point, man, you don't live in a country, man. You live in a fucking war zone, right?
Yeah.
You're about to start the conflict, and
Yeah.
that's where you're going, man. That's where you're going.
And these
So
divisions are traditionally the way mankind runs its governments.
yeah.
Group A against B until they get displaced and replaced by C. And this is why they're historically so unstable. But
Yeah.
America managed to last 250 years, right
Yeah.
up until the moment they shot Kennedy. It had been
Yeah.
getting better year in and year out, even with the Federal Reserve and all these other parasitic manifestations of, people just wanted to take out, they didn't want to put in. Even with those, the U.S. government was still doing well going into the Kennedy term. But now they've degenerated into the traditional forms of mankind that they've had for their governments for thousands of years, where one group wars against another and they call it governance. But really, rather than the greatest good for the greatest number, it's just whatever ruling power holds the majority of seats at that moment. And this is why other governments have never been stable, and it's why the United States is not going to be stable anymore either.
No. Like the Mamdani election and these things, this is like politics of not resentment. This is the politics of Caudilloism, right?
Yeah,
Like America's basically becoming like Latin America, Sir Cleveland. It's
it
just
is.
gonna be
Yeah,
like, all right, I gotta elect the guy who punishes my enemies, who kills them and whatnot. And okay, man, if you want that, go for it, man. But like then America is not gonna hold, right? It's just gonna be like I said, 100 Colombias and 1,000 Balkans and multiple waves of dirty wars, man. Like if that's what you want to choose, that's what you're gonna get, right?
yeah.
Uh,
This started for real in the administrations of Hillary Clinton, or the real president, not Bill Clinton.
yeah,
And many of the presidents since then, including Obama, who really formalized this,
yeah,
weaponizing the government to use against one's enemies, where you sit around and plot, when we get in power, we're going to kill this guy and that guy, and we're going to decommission or debank all of
Yeah.
these people. And
Yeah.
this became a real formal application of government under Obama. He kind of left that example. And it's funny, the Trump administration is doing a bit of that now when they should have learned from Obama's example that so there needs to be some forgiveness, but it looks like there's universal forgiveness, hostility against all. Have you noticed that under Trump? Hostility against everybody, but they're not actually prosecuting anybody.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is bad, man. You're going to make a lot of enemies doing that. It
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been good very early on. They have prosecutions, and the rest of them they tell them, yeah, we're going to let it go. So if you join us, maybe there won't be revenge and reciprocation attacks on you, put you in prison, all that. But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
haven't offered either. It's just general resentment against the existing government, and no one's been prosecuted yet. It's all just talk.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's gonna be chaotic anarchy. It's just gonna be like,
Yeah.
Mamdani, punish my enemies. And then somebody else gets elected. Oh, please punish my enemies. And then the people who talk and they're like, oh, why is no one in jail yet, right? Eventually
Yeah.
they'll emigrate because they're useless, right? And then the people who are actually gonna fight, they're actually gonna fight, right?
Yeah.
That's
Everybody has to in the end. Once the government destabilizes enough, I've noticed that a lot of Americans are such poor students of history. They think it's going to decline into soft power and dystopian dictatorship. But the truth is, as they lose more and more central control, chaos and anarchy are inevitable. And some people will always fight from desperation. They won't be interested anymore in obeying the law. They'll just see what they can get that day with a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
A
sir.
lot of civil wars were really just outbreaks of criminals and no law enforcement to stop them. And the historians call it a civil war, but really it was just a majority of people who decided obeying the law is no longer a good strategy for me.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, Sir Kenaz. Breaking
Hello.
news.
Breaking news.
The U.S. Labor Department announces that the October CPI inflation report has been canceled permanently. This is what they do in Bangladesh, by the way. Like, if the data
so we don't like these results, so we're just going to stop getting the data on them. Well, that'll work wonderfully. I mean, of course, there's not going to be a problem.
Hey, so Sir Kenaz, if the data doesn't exist, Sir Kenaz, if the data doesn't exist, everything is fine. If it doesn't exist, then the economy is fine.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we have literally hit cargo cult standards of government here for like the past.
You guys are
several
Bangladesh
years.
now, Sir Kenaz. You've become Bangladesh. You've become
It's
Bangladesh.
like,
Government doesn't like the data. Government doesn't like the data, so the data no longer exists.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing that. The FBI crime statistics have shown a decline in numbers, like murder rates, because a lot of cities are no longer reporting their murder rates.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the secret of lowered crime rates amongst Obama and the previous two administrations. They just stopped reporting, no matter how bad it was, and told people, yeah, we're getting safer than ever. There were no murders last year in Boston or Baltimore. And in fact, they just weren't reporting on them.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever driven through Washington, D.C. at nighttime in the past 30 years, and I did, I was in a truck at night. I mean, they were Mad Max feral. Our truck was stopped with a spare tire thrown into a back street less than 2 blocks away from the White House. They were looking to rob us. I was in between two black guys, and they basically told them not to pull me out of the cab because they would lose their jobs. So they had to appeal to the mob not to rob the truck, just for us to get safely to our destination 2 blocks from the White House. You can imagine how bad we're talking about. They block the roads all the time to rob vehicles.
Yep.
And none of that got reported. I never saw a news story about that. But I personally knew 3 people who had been stopped at night by road bandits and robbed, and one of them was beaten. So, this is going on in the nation's capital back in 1992. You can imagine how much crime has gone unreported in the U.S.
Mhm.
It's really a joke. And Trump has tried to ameliorate some of it, but I think he too will realize the virtues of just not reporting bad news.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you have a whole class of people with the rise of the internet, the source people who
Yeah,
honestly believe if it's not on Wikipedia, if it's not on NPR,
yeah,
if it's not in the news, then it doesn't exist.
never happened. Yeah,
So, it's not, you know, it's not a sustainable strategy, but I understand what they're doing here.
yeah. Yeah, 8 tenths of the population, they do a Google search, and if they don't find it, the first search, whatever it is, it's not real. And mind you, if you can control Google search,
Oh.
you can imagine the sort of things that you can hide
Mhm.
from the public. Whole
Yeah.
fields of science,
Yeah.
new discoveries, breakthroughs, parts of the country trying to break off and form a new republic. You can hide these. If they don't turn up in the Google search, they're not happening.
Mhm. Yep.
You guys still there?
Still here. Yeah, no,
Yes,
that
sir.
is
Yes, sir.
exactly, the problem, today is Google has not only has a lot of influence over what information gets to people's computers, has regularly been putting their thumb on the scale to make sure that only
Yeah,
the proper sort of that's gonna be a problem. It's good.
yeah,
Like, these guys you used to complain, well, we only had three, networks, and if every city has like one paper, it's like today, every for all intents and purposes, every search that's made on the internet goes through Google.
I think it's only going to get worse because whereas the humans do ham-handed attempts and flawed attempts to censor information, the AI is going to be really good at it. And it's going to be like that thing never existed, never happened, because the AI is going to know all the critical points at which to delete the information. So it's like even if you read it, by the time it gets done vanishing it, you won't even be able to find a reference to that piece of information later on, which is remarkably like George Orwell's 1984, where they actually burned the old news articles to make sure you couldn't find them. Nowadays, they go on the Wayback Machine archive and snip things out of the memory of human beings back on that. And that under
Mhm.
AI, that's going to get really bad, I predict.
Mhm. Mhm. It'll get bad for a while, and then the lights go out because there's not enough silver and copper to continue the farce.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Best
like
thing that ever happened.
it's gonna
If
get
they lose electricity to the AI, that'll be the most freedom
yeah,
we've had in years. Once that stuff starts to shut down.
Well, that's
yeah.
the Achilles heel of AI. The approach
Yeah.
they've been taking is we will throw more electricity at it. We'll throw, more ADA cards. We'll throw, more electricity at, more wattage. Where, their plans for growth. What is it Ahnaf always says? You plan to mine more copper in the next 5 years than you have throughout recorded human history.
So okay. So in the last 8,000 years of human history, the amount of copper that has been mined, they plan to surpass that in the next 18 years, right? So I don't take these people seriously, man. Like, yeah, man, we're gonna have the surveillance state and we're gonna fucking own the world and we'll fucking like change history or whatever the fuck. Oh, thanks. Oh,
What's that? Somebody sent me a
oh,
link to my own site.
You were playing that
They
in the
turned me
background.
off.
I was like,
Sorry.
who's speaking over there?
No,
No,
that's yeah.
don't worry about it.
No, but
Don't
yeah,
worry
I
about it.
mean,
Don't worry about it.
it's like
Yeah.
everybody says, my basic philosophy of like the future stems from the idea that you cannot have infinite growth on a finite planet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, there's really
Oh, yeah.
no, I don't see any way I could be wrong with this idea. I have yet to see anything convincing otherwise, besides we'll think of something.
We'll think of
something, or people didn't believe we could fly airplanes. It's like,
sure,
but
man.
the thing that really destroys
it,
Kenaz, the thing that really destroys our economy and destroys many of our successes is inflation and fake money, because money's always making everything more expensive, no matter how much we innovate, no matter how more efficient we get. And with the robots, we should all work for about an hour a day and get paid, $50,000 just by showing up. But because of inflation, mankind works harder and harder for less and less, and things don't get better. We run on the treadmill faster than ever, but inflation outstrips our efforts to create greater productivity and efficiency, and that is what's really limiting the economy. I think by now, general improvements in efficiency overall should have improved almost everything. Instead, life sucks and is really bad because our money's been inflated away. We're still giving the majority of our tax money, and we get fewer services in return than we ever did. So I really believe that the natural relationships of mankind under a free market system mean that things would get more efficient. I don't know if there'd be infinite growth, but there'd always be expansion into other markets for people where you could make just as much money. But
Sir Cleveland, all of that's true, but you got to remember, you got to remember something. Inflation, right? But population contraction is fundamentally deflationary. Right? So if you aborted everyone and 100 million people don't exist, guess what? If you have two forces, one headwind is inflationary and the other headwind is deflationary, right? The only question at that point is which one is going to be dominant, right? And the dominant thing wins out, right? So this century, it's going to be extremely brutal, right? It's going to be extremely brutal. You'll have inflationary cycles, right? But the deflation is going to win out,
with that.
right? Because of because there's the people don't exist. Because again, they were aborted, and many other people don't exist because they were never born.
Infinite inflation and deflation to a very minor population that can sustain with what's left. I think it's happening right now. That's part of the reasoning behind immigration is just to get anybody. We just need warm bodies pouring in from the outside to try to sustain the labor market. But that's a really flawed idea. That will never maintain the America we had with just by pouring warm bodies into the U.S. But I think that's their reasoning. You guys always go all quiet when I speak.
No, we're just listening intently to words of wisdom from somebody who actually, from one of the legends of the doomer world.
You can see why I'm so depressed. If any of the things I've alleged are true, the future, as Ahnaf just said, it's not going to be a nice place. No way. It just can't happen. So they've screwed things up so badly that even if you poured 4 billion people into the country, you're not going to be able to hold up the economy. And we're headed for anarchy and chaos.
Yeah. The thing with these people is that they bitch and whine online about replacement or whatever. Like, motherfucker, you're going to leave, man. You're going to emigrate. And you're going to die on the road, man. Like, when the hate cannibals and these other guys show up on their pickup trucks with the missiles and whatnot at the back, right? And you've got you're like some 50, 55, 60-year-old grandpa. You're like, I got 1,000 firearms. And then this guy with his pickup truck, he's parked 10 miles away. He fires off his drones and missiles at you and he just kills you, right? You're gonna fucking run, man. Like, why are you putting up a brave face, man? You're gonna fucking run. You're gonna die on the road, right? And so my advice to them is just like, before the anarchy and the chaos happens, is get the fuck out, man. Like, you can see all around you that your neighbors and friends and relatives, they're preparing to shoot one another. Like, why are you going to stay here, man? It's get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. And it's like, unless you've got a bunker like Sir Cleveland or whatever, right? I don't see any point. Like, avoid the big cities, avoid these places, man. It's going to get really, really wild, right?
When that
the police forces and the military, the police forces and the military, they cannot maintain the civic order when things break down. Go ahead, Sir Cleveland.
I was just going to say that all of that infrastructure is based on ever-growing amounts of money to fund them as they become less efficient in many cases. And once that money stops flowing to prop them up, you can already see it in the big cities. The police stop working after 8 o'clock at night because they just can't afford patrols 24 hours. And that means the criminals know the specific hours that they need to work in to not have to worry about the cops at all. And that is anarchy already. And in Detroit, it's quite bad where you have, 20, 30-mile stretches. There's no police on call, and they don't respond to 911 after 8 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beginning. Imagine what we see in Detroit now is going to extend to all the big cities over coming years.
Mm-hmm.
You can forget about the cops. If you can't look out for yourself, no one else is going to.
Yeah, basically. And if you can't look out for yourself and, collapse is imminent and whatnot, my advice is get the fuck out of there, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it's gonna get really bad. It's gonna
What
get
you
really
said
bad.
about dying on the road is important. That's the way most people die. During big social collapses, they die trying to get out. That's when they die.
Yeah, well, it happened when India was partitioned, right? People died on the road by the millions. 12 million people died back then, right? In America, it's going to be much worse because, again, America has far larger geography, tyranny of distance is higher. Without the automobile, people cannot fucking function, right? So it's going to be really bad. But no, like, at this point, it's just like, oh, Peter Schiff said something. Let me read this, actually. Hang on a second. The Japanese government may torpedo the U.S. economy. It claims it will fund its huge stimulus package without increasing JGB issuance. JGB just means Japanese government bonds.
Yeah.
Perhaps the plan is to sell the U.S. treasuries that they hold. By the way, dear listeners and readers, Japan is the largest holder of American debt. Okay. Perhaps the plan is to sell U.S. treasuries to pay for it. That will send U.S. bond yields higher and the dollar lower, worsening stagflation. Sir Kenaz, happy Liberation Day.
Happy Liberation Day. Yeah, this is Japan. What can we expect? When, not if, when Japan drops the treasury, starts dumping U.S. Treasury bonds, because it sounds like that is happening.
Well, that's why I've always thought the fall of Taiwan is going to be so bad, because the Chinese will assume all their financial possessions and resources, and they're going to get those bonds. And the first thing they could do if they get back Taiwan is sell all those treasuries. So you can imagine either.
I mean, Taiwan doesn't hold that many American treasuries, but I see your point. Like the Japanese, if Taiwan is conquered by the Chinese outright, right? I expect it's going to happen non-militarily, but if it does happen, the Japanese would panic sell, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, from their point of view, it's like, oh my gosh, nothing's stopping.
That's your neighbor.
Nothing's stopping China.
They think, look, that's our neighbor. We need to sell all our treasuries now while we still, can get something for them. But if their neighbor falls, Japan's going to know they're next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like the thing is, right? Japanese bond yields for a 30-year to 40-year are already at historic numbers, the highest in history, right? If you hear the term highest in history referring to bond yields, that means that the price of the actual bond has crashed down to the lowest in history, right? And so now, what that basically means is it is an incentive for Japanese businesses who have all this money parked overseas, especially in America, and all these other investments, right? They can pour the money back into these Japanese treasuries instead and quote-unquote buy the dip, right? So this is what people mean when they say the reversal of the yen carry trade, right? There's about $9 trillion plus in the USD to yen currency pair, right? If that thing reverses, right, you're going to see American treasury bonds go, crater.
Yeah.
They're going to collapse.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's just like, okay, well, the government borrowing costs, right? Like, I mean, America's at like 20-25%, something like that right now, for all incoming receipts, income tax or whatever, paying just the interest on the debt. If Japan actually starts selling American bonds, you're going to get to the 30% number very, very
Yeah.
quickly. It's not even going to take 18 to 24 months, maybe even earlier than that. And at that point, it's just like you open up the history book and you're like, okay, so when do countries actually fail and revolutions happen and balkanization and war and blah, blah, blah? Well, the magic number seems to be between 35 and 55%. Some countries hold on a bit longer, some countries less so, but 35 to 55%. There are a few notable exceptions. Spain would be a classic one. Spain managed to get to like 65, 70%, I think, but that was only after they literally like looted all of Latin America for its gold and silver, right? Which America does not have the military to do, right? It literally does not have the military muscle to invade Venezuela, right? So America's not going to need to get to 70%. If I had to, I mean, obviously in our religion, we're not allowed to bet, but if I had to bet money, right? America would not have to get to 50%. America would probably go bust somewhere at the 40, 45% mark, right? And America's already at the 20, 25% mark. So we're hitting the exponential stride, folks. Buckle up, boys and girls.
I reckon once those bonds fail, that's pretty much it for the U.S. That they won't bounce back from that.
No. Because people would have to start paying 9%, 10% on their mortgages.
Yeah.
They can't even pay 7% right now, like 6.9, 6.8. So, like, the failure rate right now is 70, 80%. If you're like, okay, well, now your mortgage rate is 9%. It's 100% failure rate at that point.
Right.
Oh, man.
That's what I was paying. That's what I was paying.
So, Kenaz, this was the plan all along. Yeah. So, Kenaz, this was the plan all along. Bankrupt the country, deflationary crash, pour in all the Indians to finish the job. This was Trump's plan all along. Trust the plan. This is what Q was talking about all along. America.
I mean,
I would
actually be happy if Trump were that smart. I mean, there's more to, like, I might prefer being led by an evil but competent ruler to being like led by a senile idiot. It's like, we're going on 6 years of senile idiocy at this point?
Yeah. America doesn't really have any leadership, and in the past couple of days with these reversals by Trump, it's obvious even the great white hope of Donald Trump, he wasn't going to work out. It's really depressing, but the truth is I had never put any faith in him because I knew he was not only a man, he wasn't even a Christian, so it's foolish to invest too much of your faith in a man like this. And he's been thoroughly disappointing. And it started with the Epstein refusal to release those Epstein documents, but very quickly changed into all these other complete reversals on policy. And you have to wonder,
Sir Cleveland,
Epstein is at the root.
Sir Cleveland, Sir Cleveland, I got something special for you. All right. Copy link. So just go to the chat for this spaces. And these are the current polling numbers, Sir Cleveland, amongst white voters. Democrats 50%, Republicans 46%. This is amongst white voters, by the way. Who Trump won by like 10, 20 points.
Right. So
Democrats were like the party of socialism and whatnot. These guys, they're now winning these guys by 4 points.
Yeah. Not good. Not a good sign at all. Trump was supposed to be the revival of these values, but apparently people have become more convinced than ever that that's where their salvation lies, in socialism. Pack your rice. Pack your rice, gentlemen.
Oh, dear.
Because mankind's problem always is when infrastructure fails and social structures fail, people start to go hungry. They can't get the food in the markets, can't get the food to people, so you have to store some for a rainy day. I reckon this year alone has been more than enough cause for people to start a food storage program, and I would expect that anybody who understands what's going on should have begun to put away some food by now, because I think
they should have.
It's going to be the number one tool of political control in the future. If you want to eat, You got to do what they say. Period. Do what they say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a rising tide of sentiment that thinks a lot of problems could be solved by turning guns in, and that's a primary candidate to use famine as a political tool. If you want to eat, if you want your credit card to work, you got to bring us your gun.
Mm-hmm.
Bring us your gun, and we'll put you back on SNAP. That sort of thing.
Well, we know who's going to do it, though. We know who's going to do it. It's going to be the quote-unquote law-abiding people. The criminals will have their guns, right? They'll just shoot the government and grab what they want, man. So that's not actually going to work.
The criminals will probably steal guns from the law-abiding and turn those in and keep theirs, keep their own.
Yeah, like I said, Haitian cannibal gangs will rule America. There we go. Already said the. Already can see
the
future
Amish are likely to rule America because the Amish, the electricity is out. We usually have between 5 and 10 children, so we're not really worried about demographic winter. There's no electricity. We have to farm organically using traditional techniques from pre-electrical era. Wow, how are we ever going to do that?
Yeah, this is all basically. They probably wouldn't notice if the country collapsed, would they? They might have to defend their farms against intruders, but it would be business as usual. There wouldn't be too many changes for them.
They'll be fine. Yeah. They'll be fine. The Mormons will be fine. The Amish will be fine. A couple of these other guys will be fine. Everyone else is just going to be dying on the road or whatever. Yeah. And the dilapidated ruins of these cities, they'll be ruled by slumlords, like I said, Haitian cannibals, gangs, and these guys they'll fight over the fucking junkyards.
Yeah.
That's the future right there.
There's also a downside as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope it's only that bad. I hope it's only as bad as you described.
Well, I mean, what I'm describing is like hundreds of millions of casualties, and then tens of millions of emigrations and all the other stuff. Right? It's gonna be a fun 21st century because what is it? I always use this number, which is like 117 billion people have lived and have been born overall and lived and whatnot since half a million years ago, right? Out of that number, 500 million have perished from war, genocide, ethnic cleansing, that kind of stuff, right? So 117 billion, 500 million, not the worst, right? But in this century, we're gonna get 4 or 5 billion from like war, famine, genocide, etc., etc.
I predict when things get bad enough, they will start a war. It's worked in the past. When things get bad enough, they get desperate enough, they'll try to open a third world war, and that's when your preps will really come in handy in that environment, because the U.S., I doubt, will just simply slide into total anarchy. The central government will try to reestablish control by starting a major war of some kind. Hopefully against somebody that can't fight back. The problem is their own weapons systems have declined. Almost everybody is becoming a nation that could fight back. And all that the U.S. has left is these doomsday weapons. They don't have a real military, functional military. They've got these weapons to deliver hell from orbit. And when you use those, obviously you started a third world war. You can't have a limited war when you're using doomsday weapons on your enemies. So I know they're planning to use direct energy weapons.
Did you watch that movie? What's it called? A House of Dynamite. Did you watch it?
No, I haven't watched it. Somebody told me it's just a bunch of far left woke stuff, but I'll watch it.
Honestly, I understand what they mean, but I actually like the movie.
I'll have to see it.
There's things that they got right.
Okay.
They're basically the premise of the movie is a single nuclear warhead is flying towards Chicago. The satellites got spoofed. They don't know where it's coming from. They fired the GDIs from Alaska. They didn't intercept it. It's gonna hit Chicago, right? They basically the entire movie is showing the 20-minute sequence of the missile launching and heading towards Chicago from multiple viewpoints, right? They don't know who fired it, so they don't know who to fire back at. They immediately go to DEFCON 1. Because they went to DEFCON 1, everyone else also goes into alert mode and they start like mobilizing, right? And this makes the Americans go even more nuts. The president,
Because you can't tell you can't tell if it's defensive or offensive. This is what Herman Kahn talked about in his scenarios.
Yeah.
He said it's worst when you don't quite know who initiated the attack, because it can begin to cascade into full-on worldwide war when you can't identify the aggressor.
So the movie is interesting because there's basically the main theme of the movie is that decision paralysis. So they don't know what to do, right? Like the humans, they don't know what to do because again, they don't know who fired the missile, right? The Russians are denying it. They said, "Oh, we talked to the Chinese. Chinese are denying it as well." And then, the Americans are like, "Well, what if we don't fire back? Can we have your word that you won't fire back?" And then he's like, "Well, I just gotta talk to my president. I don't know about that, right?" Then they let go of the phone call. They never show us what the president of America's actual decision is, right? The National Command Authority is confirmed, and then I think CENTCOM or not CENTCOM, but what STRATCOM asks him, "Mr. President, what are your orders?" Right? It's a zugzwang because like if Chicago is hit, right, and hundreds of thousands of people are immolated in nuclear bonfire, right? If America does nothing, then what that means is nuclear terrorism is acceptable. All you gotta do is fire one missile at a time at each American city, and just make sure that you keep spoofing the satellite, right? And it'll keep happening over and over again. That's option one. Option two is America decides to fire nukes at everyone simultaneously, at which point everyone will fire back as well, right? And America becomes the enemy of the world. So it's like lose-lose, right? And so that was the point of the movie. The point of the movie is that in the year 2025 and beyond, America is now at a disadvantage in nuclear war because you have this like tactic you can do, which I think the Chinese call it salami slicing.
Right.
So it's like you give the guy such a small piece of salami and you keep doing it until it becomes a big piece of salami, basically, right? So, that's where things are at, Sir Cleveland.
Herman Kahn wrote about this where he said, as trust declines in the statesmanship and diplomacy of the United States, its enemies have to look at any aggressive attack as a possible early salvo in World War III. And as tensions increase, the possibility increases that its enemies may think, well, it's trying to do something under cover of responding to a single attack, when in fact it's just using that as cover to launch an all-out attack. And instead of mutual assured destruction, everybody is assured whoever strikes first has better odds of surviving. Rather than wait, make a decision, launch now, and your country will be more favorably off when the war ends, and as it will end if it's bad enough. And the mad philosophy doctrine of deterrence gives way to everybody gets a bonus for firing early.
Everyone gets the bonus. Oh man, the thing with the movie is that it's hinted at, but like I think one of the generals, he basically said, if I had to guess, it's probably the North Koreans. They acquired a submarine launch capability. They made the Chinese spoof their satellites, and then they launched. So it's the start of a coordinated assault against America, basically. So North Korea, China, Russia, Iran, and Pakistan are going to fight America at the same time, right? And that's what his theory was. But throughout the movie, we are not told whether he was correct or not, because there's no time, right? Like it's 20 minutes. We don't know what's happening. The president has to make a decision. He doesn't have the facts. He doesn't have the information. And no matter what decision he makes, America is fucked. That's basically the message of the movie.
I will see it. It sounds good. I'll see it. I haven't seen it yet. Sounds good.
There's some woke stuff in there. But honestly, just ignore it and just like, I ignored it and I just watched the movie and I just asked myself, how realistic is this scenario? It's actually pretty realistic. The satellites and the there was a scene in that movie where they fired the GDIs from Alaska to intercept, And I mean, they said, oh, 61% interception rate for like both of them to get the one. And then the defense secretary, he lost his mind and he's like, so it's a fucking coin toss? That's what $50 billion buys us. And then the undersecretary of defense, he just says, you're talking about hitting a bullet with a bullet, right?
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult, right?
It's always been that problem.
Yeah,
There's always been that problem with defending against nukes, hitting a bullet with a bullet.
Yeah. Oh man.
I feel that because of the loss of our advantage with hypersonics, with the rest of the world getting very good hypersonic technology, we don't have a graduated response anymore. Where we could bomb a city, destroy a city with a hypersonic drone. So you take one of our cities, we take one of your cities. No, they just have the doomsday weapons. You take one of our cities, we start to drop direct energy weapons from the sky and burn up most of your countryside and the city, set fire in them. And at that point, nobody is paid for their reserve. Nobody gets any benefit to being thoughtful and considering maybe we shouldn't do this. At that point, everybody gains an advantage in strategy if they do whatever they can to destroy the U.S. And if there's 4 or 5 nations within a few milliseconds of communication, they all agree we'll launch a coordinated attack. That's the 24-hour gangbang we talked about on and off. Where
I think I sent you that, but like I'm trying to write a book. It's a novel basically, but like it starts at 2 a.m. 2:17 a.m. Iranian time. You should check the Quranic verse for that, 2:17, right? That's the reason why the military operation starts at 2:17 a.m. Iranian time, right? And it's basically minute by minute, second by second, what happens from multiple points of view. That's basically, I mean, it's going to be a very long thing because I have to like visualize everything, but it's going to be in multiple locations simultaneously. It's going to be in Tehran, Beijing, Moscow, all these other places. It's going to be in America as well, how other people react to it, etc., etc. But like, I'll send you the first chapter and show you what it looks like.
Somebody the other day, they asked me, we just were chatting about it, and I was telling them about my shelter and some of the preparations I'm making. They were saying, why would you worry about a blast shelter in Appalachia? Like, maybe fallout would be a problem, but what's the big deal with blast? And I told them, the Russians has proven observation of 100 megaton weapons, and what's called the Satan weapon, which launches 100 megaton airbursts. So we definitely need a blast shelter for that. And I told them in nearby Kentucky and Tennessee, all the mountaintops are dotted with critical communication systems, which if they can take those down, they can make most of the East Coast government infrastructure unable to communicate with one another. And I reckon they do that with blast weapons. And we definitely get some of that in Appalachia. So I was telling them, if you build a shelter, go to the trouble of giving it a strong enough ceiling and blast valves. Because otherwise you'd be wasting your time. It won't just be fallout. In modern wars, we have problems that they never had to worry about in the 1950s, which is just fallout in many locations. Nowadays, if you build a shelter, it should be a blast shelter no matter what.
Sir Kenaz. Sir Kenaz, you didn't watch the movie, did you?
I did not.
You should watch it. It's actually pretty. I mean, I found it hilarious, but I think you would find it horrifying. But like, I think it was actually very realistic with regard to like decision paralysis. It was like I watched it and it's like, people losing their minds. A guy dropped his coffee and then all these other little things. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly what would happen. This is great. Oh man.
Was that on Netflix?
Three-time Trump.
Sounds good. Netflix.
Check it out. I'll even send you a link. I think I have a free link for it, whatever. But like, all right, let me see what this guy's saying. Okay, Ron Smith, 3-time Trump voter. My husband lost all of his overtime. My kids' daycare went up. We can't afford the cost of food. We're using credit card for everyday expenses, and we've got no money left after all bills are paid. A whole bunch of financial mess. Okay, CNN. We changed presidents. He said he was going to fix it. He said it would be easy. Trump voter. Absolutely not. I'm waiting for him to fix it. I'm very let down. I feel like it's only gotten worse. Yeah, Sir Cleveland, I think Trump was elected to replace the country with Indians. I think that's what his role was.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Sounds like it. Oh, man. It's so funny watching this shit show.
Because it's all kind of orbiting around this problem with Epstein's documents, I have to wonder if someone said, listen, not only are you going to keep Epstein out, but we've got a few other policies you're going to push now. If you want to make sure those Epstein things don't come out, we need you to push the 50-year mortgage and a bunch of crazy crap. Now you're going to import Indians.
15-year car loan. Sir Cleveland, you forgot the 15-year car loan.
15 years to own a car. You want a car? I can get you a car out here in Appalachia in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I pulled up in a guy's yard the other day. He had a car sitting out front. I told him, that thing's in pretty good shape. Does it run? He said, yeah, it runs. I told him, how much more for it? He said, well, it's got real problems with the oil and stuff. You probably have to do some work on it. And I told him, no, go ahead. Tell me what you take for it. He said, you drive it off for $50. And, you know, compared to a 15-year mortgage on a car, that's pretty good. My dad had a car like that, and he had to stop every 20 miles and pour oil into it to keep it running. And he said he was laughing all the way to the bank for the rest of his life, that's all he spent on his car. When the time came to paint it, because it was starting to rust out, he painted it with camouflage by just cans of spray paint. And he told me, he said, I've never had to put too much into my automobile, but it gets me where I'm going that way. So as opposed to 15 years, you know, how much is a car worth to a person that take a chunk out of their life like that?
Yeah.
50-year house, 15-year cars, your life would be over before you know it. And you probably...
Sir Cleveland, you forgot
the thing with a 15-year car loan is that's longer than your car's average lifespan.
Right.
You know, I mean, okay, a 50-year mortgage on a house, there's a chance your house will probably still be standing 50 years from now if it was built if it was built right.
Right.
15 years on a car is going to be, it's going to require regular maintenance. And modern cars, you can't really maintain them like, I'll do all of these things in my garage, or in my driveway.
Would you pass the mortgage along to somebody else? I mean, who would take a car that's 10 years old and continue to pay the 15-year mortgage on it? I wouldn't, it's just not a good investment.
I mean, and a lot of people aren't going to, go ahead, take the car, you're going to need to bring a tow truck because it doesn't run. You can sue me for the rest, but I'm judgment proof.
Yeah.
I mean, I just see, I see 15-year loans on cars as just being an absolute non-starter.
Yeah. So why would, I mean, Trump's got good business sense. Why then would he even put that forward? Because it's almost like someone's behind him whispering in his ear what his next policy move should be.
Honestly, Sir Cleveland, I think it's because I think this is a situation where the simplest explanation works, which is like the monthly payments are not coming in and people are failing because their credit lines are imploding. And so they're just like, okay, we got to get the monthly payments in. Otherwise, the country's going to go bankrupt.
Yeah.
What do? We can just increase the term limit, right? If we increase the time, right, then the monthly payments will come in. So... Oh man, it's so fucking funny. This is the fakest and the gayest I've ever seen. Of like,
it's declined to the point where every day is just stone-faced satire like the Airplane movie. You just can't believe that they're saying that stuff with a straight face.
Yeah.
And when the country's in that bad a shape, we must be getting near the end here. Must be getting near collapse.
All I'm waiting for now is the VIX to get to like some crazy high number, like 80, 100, 120.
Yeah.
Then the market actually crashes instead of like correcting downwards
Yeah.
and whatever. And then people just start attacking America. They're just like, okay, whatever, America's collapsing. Okay, there's a bunch of soldiers at Prince Sultan Air Base. We can just fire the missiles from Iran and just kill them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then America's just fucked, man. I'm just waiting for that. At this point, it's just a waiting game. It's just like there's nothing left to do, right? 1/5 of the fleet is parked in the Caribbean,
Yeah.
right? Venezuela is just like, we're not gonna surrender. Even if Maduro surrenders,
Yeah.
the generals and these guys, they're just like, we're just gonna keep fighting, right? We have a 4.5 million strong, lightly armed militia. We've got a military of like 150,000, right? After you add up reserves and everything. We are gonna fight it out, and if you want to crack us, you gotta bring in more troops. And so it's gonna be fun, Sir Cleveland. It's gonna be Great Depression 2.0,
Yeah.
except 10 times worse. War with Venezuela, which is gonna be a worse form of like the Iraq War and more accelerated.
Mm.
And then it's gonna be Iran killing American soldiers in like these bases. Wonderful, excellent,
Yeah.
perfect way to end this stupid farce.
Yeah. They can't give him a Nobel Prize after all that.
Give him the fucking Nobel Peace Prize. Hey man, your troops got massacred,
Yeah.
but in the Saudi desert by like Iranian hypersonics. There we go, wonderful.
Yeah. Do you think,
Oh dear.
however bad the reset may be, the correction, if you want to call it, I mean, isn't it as bad as having to live in a country that it's like a Naked Gun movie every single day? I mean, just let it collapse already, and maybe something healthy will come out of it. But every day it gets more self-parody, more ridiculous, and you feel ashamed that nobody can tell the truth anymore. It's embarrassing. Everything you have to say with a straight face. 50-year mortgage, 15-year car payments. I mean, come on, man. you can't really mean that, do you?
Just pure goyim behavior.
Yeah.
Like you're just a goyim for the Jews, man.
Yeah.
Like 50-year fucking like, okay, whatever, man.
Yeah.
At that point, why the fuck does it matter that 100 million Indians show up and just replace you, man? Why the fuck does it matter?
Sure.
Right? Look at your existence, man. You're paying 50-year, 15-year, whatever the fuck. This is ridiculous, man. This is actually
the president was going to
like,
make
what are
America
these people
great
defending?
again. The president was going to make America great again. He's going to do it by replacing Americans. I mean, that's it's ridiculous. Yeah.
It's ridiculous, but at this point, I'm my attitude to the whole thing is to just let it end, man. Just like,
That's the way I feel.
It's just grandpa's dying.
Yeah.
He's like, like, what's it called? Assisted suicide, euthanasia.
Yeah.
Just let it happen, man.
I
Let
think
it
a lot of
happen.
this
Like,
is driven
why?
by boomers. Boomers want to just hold it together long enough so they can die without finding out about the natural consequences of their ideas for the past 50 years.
Yeah.
They feel like just hold it together. The day after I pass away, you can let it all go to hell. But for the time being, just keep the old illusions alive so that I can enjoy my retirement. And I've got people in my family I feel are like that. They don't want to know how bad it is. They want you to keep them in the dark until they're gone. That's a pretty depressing way to go through life. To feel like I can't lose my illusions, I can't bear it. So just keep the story alive that we're going to bounce right back, put on my red cap, make America great again. And it was just that simple, happy ending. 24 hours after I'm dead, be all out nuclear war, total social collapse. I don't care. I won't be here to see it.
I won't care when the country is pawned off and sold square kilometer by square kilometer to the Indians and the Jews.
Yeah.
Oh,
they bought most of it already, haven't they? Bill Gates.
Yeah. There's like a giant Hanuman statue in like multiple American cities and suburbs already, right?
Yeah.
So they've already. What I find hilarious is that the Muslims were trying to buy up a bunch of these suburbs in Texas And Governor Abbott is like, oh my gosh, we're not going to have Sharia. No, okay, I got to do his voice. Sharia law, right? We're not going to have Sharia law in like America. Meanwhile, this fucker has no problem with the Indians buying up all these suburbs, building a giant Hindu temple and building a giant Hanuman statue. I'm like, bro, we see through your shit from a mile away, man.
Yeah.
Your country's collapsing. You're like the goyim for the Jews.
Yeah.
That's why you hate the Muslims, right? Like, eventually we're going to buy the land and we're also going to build our mosques as well, man. Like, if the Hindus can do it, we can fucking do it. Get the fuck out of our way, man.
Are monkeys and elephant gods a good replacement for the monolithic Judeo-Christian God? Because that's what's going to happen. And India is not adapting the new gods to the land they're moving to. They're bringing the old ones with them. So either way, you're going to get temples and facilities for other people because you didn't have children.
Yeah.
The question is, they're going to be Islamic, or are they going to be Indian, million different gods with monkey trunks and look like some kind of genetic engineering experiment?
If you like, what's the name of that goddess? Like Kali?
Yeah.
Kali is like, so she's got. Yeah, so it's like people are like freaking out over like Hanuman statues. I'm like, okay, have you checked the goddess Kali? Right?
Yeah.
She's wearing these flower garlands on her neck, but if you actually zoom in, it's actually not flowers.
Yeah.
It's actually like beheaded heads. It's like severed heads.
Right.
So she's wearing the severed heads of her enemies as like a bloody garland, right?
Yeah.
And she's carrying all those weapons and killing everyone, right? So it's like, all right, man, if you want these guys and you don't want the Muslims, all right, whatever, man.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the Hanuman statue in Texas. It's hideous.
Yeah.
It's really hideous.
Oh man. They're gonna keep building it, and all these people are gonna bitch and whine about Indians. Meanwhile, they'll work for Indians, and the carpentry and the construction and these things, they'll do it for all these statues, man. Right?
It's inevitable if you didn't have babies, isn't it? Your God's going to get replaced by somebody else's.
Oh yeah. That's how it be. So, with that being said, Sir Kenaz, we've run this for like 2+ hours. I think now is a good time to call it.
I think this is a good time to call it because I'm going to be picking up groceries shortly.
Sounds good. Sir Cleveland, any last words for America is Fucked, Crypto Winter, and Donald John Drumpf Shenanigans Edition? Any last words? Go for it, good sir.
If you don't... Yeah.
I was asking if you had any last words, but...
I just wanted to add that I believe that the three of us and your various guests are doing a national service. We should get some kind of tax subsidies to be running these shows. We're doing more good with these shows by at least letting people know what's happening. And I watched Broadcast News an hour this morning.
Yeah.
Totally useless. You can learn more on these shows with you two guys than watching broadcast all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So thank you for having me.
Oh, it's
thank
always
you, good
our
sir.
pleasure, Sir Cleveland. You are always a welcome guest on Eurabiamania.
Yeah, no, we'll call you back. We'll call you back multiple times over the next few weeks, just because like things are getting absolutely shitty. Thank you, dear listeners and readers, for tuning in. We're gonna sign off now. Yeah, I'll send the recording to Sir Cleveland when Sir Kenaz is done with it. So when possible, Sir Cleveland, restack, cross-post, share, whatever you want to do. But yeah, no, folks, thank you for listening in. There's not much good news to share, sorry to say. But yeah, no, remember as always, the doom cometh.
Doom cometh. Take care, people. It's a jungle out there.
All right, see ya.
Your soul is mine.